Stars in the heavens have long captured our imagination. Long before the TV and internet, people would gaze up at the stars at night and invent stories about them, about their hopes and dreams, about their lives and relationships. And no constellations are more famous than the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. The Big Dipper lies in the constellation Ursa Major, the Big Bear, and the Little Dipper next to it lies in Ursa Minor, the Little Bear. The Big Dipper is important because the lead two stars in the bowl point to the North Star in Ursa Minor. And the North Star is really bright, and it never sinks below the horizon at night. So ancient peoples, sailors and travelers of all kinds, would look to these stars for direction. So you find the Big Dipper, you find the North Star, and you literally can take your bearings. These constellations were so important that you find paintings of them in caves, you find them carved on rocks, you even find them built into earthworks in the ground. And one particularly cool example is in Ohio, a series of spectacular mounds built by the Hopewell people around 3,000 years ago. And some of these mounds represent constellations, including Ursa Minor and the North Star. And of course, there are many stories about these constellations. In one that's attributed to the Iroquois, the bear is the bowl in the dipper, and the handle is in the 7 stars in the handle represent hunters: robin, chickadee, owl, and other birds. And the hunters pursue bear throughout the summer sky. But as fall nears, the 4 hunters furthest from the bear lose the trail, as those stars sink below the horizon. But robin, closest to the bear, finally gets off a fatal shot, and the blood of the bear falls on the trees and colors the leaves red. And one drop of the bear's blood falls on robin and colors its breast red. So of course, these stories are about the cycles of the seasons, connected by the bear, and about ecology that connects the birds to the bears and to the northern hardwood forests. And there's another story told by the Zuni in the Southwest, where the great bear guards the land from the ice gods to the north. And in the winter, when the bear sleeps, the frozen breath of the gods ravages the land. But then in the spring, the bear wakes up and chases the gods back to the north, and the land is refreshed. So of course, then and now, we look at the bear that disappears when it snows and reemerges in the spring. And we look to that for hope and a sense of renewal. But my favorite story comes from the ancient Greeks and centers on Callisto. Callisto was a maiden of the goddess Artemis. Artemis was the goddess of the hunt, of forests, of wilderness, and wild animals. Callisto was seduced by Zeus, the head of the gods, and she became pregnant. And so Artemis threw her out of her temple. And Callisto bore a son, Arcas, who became a hunter. And in a jealous rage, Hera came down and turned Callisto into a bear. And one day, Callisto was in the woods and encountered her son, and she rushed to greet him. And Arcas didn't recognize his mother and drew his bow back and was about to shoot her when Zeus saw what was going on and turned Arcas into a bear and flung them both up into the heavens, where they were transformed into stars. And she became Ursa Major and he Ursa Minor. So why bears? Well, Artemis's name shares the same root word in Latin as bear, which is arctos. And many scholars believe that Artemis actually was descended from much earlier mythology, way before the Greeks and Christ. Maybe she was an earth goddess, they feel, a Mother Earth goddess. And so the bear then connects us to this very ancient story about Mother Earth. Well, today, stars are often obscured by all the light pollution, and many of us are really distracted by our smartphones. But if we remember, we can still look up at the sky at night and find direction and find hope and find connection to our ancient collective human past that's filled with imaginative stories about bears and other wild animals.